Who is Sigvald, Prince of Slaanesh? Good morrow, this is Chris speaking, 60 Goblins and 1 brush. And I saw the question cropping up again and again on this channel and on other channels, who the heck is Sigvald? For anyone who started this game in the Age of Sigmar time, they cannot possibly know. So don't feel bad about it if you don't. Anyone who started playing Warhammer Fantasy before Age of Sigmar already, they probably remember it. Since we started playing about 35 years ago, we still remember very well. Especially because I always was a fan of Chaos. Actually in the 4th edition there was no difference between Demons of Chaos and Chaos Warriors. Only later this became 2 armies. And only in Age of Sigmar the Chaos Demons became 4 armies. Or now 5 with Archaon and the Wrath of the Ever-Chosen. But before Archaon became the super powerful being that destroyed the old world and basically led the way to Age of Sigmar, Sigvald was already a mighty hero of Slaanesh before Archaon became that powerful and famous. And unimaginable today, the old battle tomes were in black and white. There were no colorful pictures like now. Back then every chaos god had one major hero. And the Sigvald the Magnificent, the most beautiful of all, was the Slaanesh hero, of course. Valkyr the Bloody was the Khorne hero. Village the Curseling was the Tzeentch hero, who we still have as a Curseling models in the Tzeentch army. And Festus the Leech Lord or Leech Doctor or Apothecary of Nurgle was a Nurgle hero. So who was Sigvald before he became this mighty hero and chosen one of Slaanesh? Note at this point that Archaon is the ever-chosen of all the Chaos Gods, but mainly Khorne, Tzeentch and Nurgle, not so much Slaanesh. So because Archaon still wants something from Slaanesh, we don't know what, maybe a boon or an artifact or a superpower or something for Dorga, we don't know, but he's looking for Slaanesh to get something from him. That Sigvald is back might get a new bend in the storyline. Some of you probably also know Sigvald from the computer game. So Sigvald, about 300 years before the end times, before the destruction of the old world and the beginning of the age of myth, was the depraved son of a mighty human warlord and his beautiful lady. And he inherited his mother's looks and his father's thirst for blood. But he also developed some kind of decadence and perversion that he didn't inherit from any of them. So, and when he didn't get the sick entertainment he wanted, as a very young man, 16 or so, he went into the Chaos Wastes. That was in the north, the whole north of the planet back then was the Chaos Wastes, the land that the Chaos had already subdued and converted. In my last video, one of you said Sigvald looks like Fabio Lanzoni, or Fabio Lanzoni looks like Sigvald, and that is exactly how I always imagined him. Thanks. Fabio Lanzoni was a very famous model and bodybuilder and actor in the 80s and 90s. So I don't know about Fabio, but Sigvald was the epitome, the incarnation of arrogance, vanity and vainglory. So of course he was drawn to Slaanesh and Slaanesh to him, and Slaanesh made him his primary hero. And he had 3 magic artifacts of Slaanesh: his golden armor, his mirror shield and his rapier, which he still has. The golden armor and the shield together gave him a 1+ save back in the old days, and in addition regeneration. Now he has a 3+ save and in addition a 4+ after save. But he also used his mirrored shield to look at himself. He was so amazed, so delighted about his own beauty that he sometimes stopped in mid-battle and did nothing but look into his mirror and admire himself. And moreover, sometimes he called his lieutenants to him so they could also admire him and pay him compliments. This is why in the old game he had the additional root stupidity. I think it was on a 1. If you rolled on a 1, he wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't fight. He would just admire himself. Maybe you remember this animated video a few weeks back where he complained that in the realm of chaos there's no decent hairdresser. That's an allusion to that. Actually, from the early pictures, I thought he was able to fly now. But unfortunately he isn't, because in the old game he ignored terrain. His feet never touched the ground, and wherever he came, the ground transformed before him and around him, like flowers, for example, or writhing tentacles, whatever. And then he had his sword, his rapier, which in the new game is amazing. The wound output it has quite amazing. Back then he had 8 attacks and the always strikes first rule. Now he has up to 15 attacks and also the always strikes first rule. In addition, there are no save rolls allowed and each wound is D3 damage. I also really like the new model. I like the old one, I still like it, but the new model is really cool. Somehow they really know how to make these capes now and these lively postures as if in movement. And now with the new battle tome he also brought his elite units with him, the twin souls and the painbringers. Unfortunately they don't get any buff if they're near him, like the Varangard, for example, with Archeon. So who's Sigvald? He's a prick. He's a bitch. He's the most self-absorbed, psychopathic egomaniac you can possibly imagine. And he's just totally in love with himself. He is beautiful. They tried to give him a smug, arrogant smile, but what I really like was the new addition is the horns. The hair is great, but the addition of the horns, I love it. He's probably also fun to paint, although this paint job looks very pro. I don't even know if that's possible without airbrush. Yeah, to get it to this level, not so easy. But maybe not that difficult either. I really like it that he's back. It's a blast from the past, very funny. We definitely needed more vainglorious psychopaths in this game. And let's see what Slaanesh's plans for him are. He used to be trapped by an Nagash for quite some time, but now his essence got free and Slaanesh reshaped him. So welcome to the pleasure palace of Slaanesh once again. Leave your comments below about Sigvald. Thank you for watching, subscribing, joining me on Patreon and recommending the video to your friends. Thank you. See you soon.